All righty. I appreciate it. This looks good, doesn't it,
It
buddy?
does, a nice crowd.
A nice crowd. We get to try our meeting room out, see how many it'll hold, how big a ones it'll hold. Of course, we got Don up here. That gives you more room out there.
That's right.
But anyway, we appreciate each and every one of you being here and hope we can deliver some good news to you tonight. And we were going to do this the first of it, but a couple of the guys are not here. Kent's here. He's always on time, right, Kent?
Colonel's always on time.
Yeah, but he's going to be looking after our project for us, so we really appreciate that, and then he's going to tell us about it later on. So if you will, at this time, ask Buddy if he'll lead us in a word of prayer.
Thank you. Let's bow our heads. Our Father, we're thankful to assemble here tonight for do the business for town of Surf City. We're thankful to see all the citizens that's coming to join us tonight for this meeting, Father. We ask you to continue to bless this town, bless this council, bless the citizens for what they do, Father. We ask you to be with us and continue to protect us from all the harm that's out in the world. We know that we're lost sheep and we've lost our way. Father, we know through you all things are possible. We ask you to continue to protect our military, protect their families, Father, bring them home safely. Be with each and every one of us and keep us safe, Father, because here again, we know through you all things are possible. We ask all this in your most precious name. Amen.
Amen. Ask Don Helms if he'll lead us in our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, you may be seated. You're ahead of me, but anyway. All right, at this time, we got two newly elected officials, and we're going to have them sworn in at this time. Where is Wendy?
Right there.
Oh, there she is. All right, Wendy, you want to come up front? And Teresa and Jeremy, you want to go down in the well? She won't drown you, so.
It's a shame.
Better get your wife up there.
Yeah. She's out there, so get her up there. Get her up
Get
there.
up here. Come up here.
We're ready. Go ahead, Wendy. Yes. I, Jeremy Shugarts, do solemnly and sincerely swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, and I will bear faithful, bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina, to the constitutional powers and authorities which are and may be established for the government of thereof, and I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent of the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability. So help me God.
Your mama's here. She coming out?
Where's Daddy?
best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
All right. Got two sworn back in. Of course, we know what we're getting. And we appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okey-doke. We got a special recognition, and it was because of a thank you note that we got from Ms. Bridgers, who is the principal of the Surf City Middle School. And on behalf of the Surf City Middle students and staff, thank you for your support for,
We skipped the election of the mayor.
Mayor Pro-Tem.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, well, we'll do that then. Okay. Do we want to
I'd like
have a
to,
motion?
I'd like to
for-
make a motion to appoint Buddy Fowler as Mayor Pro Tem.
Do I have a second?
I want to make a second.
Okay, all in favor, raise their hand. Okay, motion carried.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, we got that done. Thank you, sir. All right, now get back to this. Anyway, on behalf of the Surf City Middle School students and staff, thank you for your support for the softball sand volleyball court. It is an amazing addition to our school and is used by all three grade levels. The collaboration among Parks and Rec with Mr. Merritt and Ms. LaPointe and the PCS maintenance with Mr. Rogers is unparalleled. This truly shows what can be accomplished with a shared vision. Thanks again for everything. Sincerely, Heather Bridges, Principal. Now, she mentioned Mr. Merritt and Ms. LaPointe, but I'd like to say that we had some of our employees out there working, and they did a fine job. So what they did, they got practice, because we got a couple of more of those same volleyball courts going in on our property. So I think that was Chad's whole idea, was just to send them out there and let them practice putting this one in, so they knew exactly how to do it when it came to ours. But anyway, we do appreciate the middle school recognizing that, and thank all the people that worked on it for doing it. Okey-doke. And, oh, I forgot, the principal at that time was, y'all, most of you know her, is Romero Liera, or how you say her last name. I never did get that right. But anyway, she was a wonderful woman, and I guess that she's still living here in Surf City. Does anybody know? But anyway, she did a fine job as principal. And also, I forgot to mention Chris Carter, our grounds person. He did a lot of the work also. And then Atlantic Stone and Mulch donated stone and hauling it. And then Lowe's donated a lot of the lumber and stuff, and Daily Grind donated the net. So we did it at no cost to the school, and they've got a fine place to play. And I guess they will have tournaments there as well, right? And so I don't think the high school's got one like that. So anyway, we like to look after our people. Okay, as I said before, today we're going to have Colonel Benjamin Bennett from the United States Corps of Engineers, Kent Trainer, who is sitting on the end over here, who is our project manager from the Corps, and then Robert Kessler with the Army Corps will be here also when they've got another meeting they're at in Wilmington, right? So hopefully they'll be out of that one before long and can be here. So at this time, we've got a special a beautification enhancement committee awards and linen and leather. Is there somebody here from linen and leather? To be sure. Anyway, linen and leather is out in the shopping center, right up here at the stoplight. And they have all kinds of interior stuff that they sell. They just went in this spring, and they were given the beautification of the business, or the Business of the Month award. So I hate that none of them are here to accept this, but we will get it to them. Thank you. All right, what about, anybody here from 1515 North New River Drive? Nope. Okay, that was the home of the month, so when you go by there, notice it. And that's 1515 North New River Drive. All righty. Let's see. All right. We ask that all in attendance please set your cell phones to silent or vibrate mode. The council offers the public an opportunity to speak during the meeting and on issues oriented with the agenda items for this meeting, or the issue upon the council has control. Citizen speakers will be acknowledged in the order that they signed up to speak and will address all comments to the board as a whole. No one individually council member with room, but not to any individual council member, sorry. Speakers will address the council from the speaker's podium at the front of the room and will begin their remarks by stating their name and address. Discussions between speakers and members of the audience will not be allowed. Groups of individuals speaking on the same topic shall pick one person to represent that group and speak individually about the topic. Public comment is intended to is not intended to be required of the council to answer any impromptu questions. Speakers are expected to be civil in their language and presentation. All comments where the primary purpose is to promote business or candidacy shall not be allowed. In accordance with the council's adopted rules of procedure, council's members shall reserve responses, if any, for the council forum on the agenda. Okay, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to adopt it.
I second.
Okay, all in favor, raise your hand. Motion to adopt is passed. Approval of consent agenda. Do I have a motion on that?
I make a motion, we approve it.
Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carried. Okay, time for public comment. You got any names?
We have one, Marty Martin.
Okay, Marty Martin. He's right up front here. Either one, I guess.
Marty Martin, 1825 North New River Drive. First of all, I'd say congratulations to the new council, Ms. Batts, Mr. Shugart. Welcome back. You did a good job the first four. Let's do it again the next four. Merry Christmas to everybody out here also. So what I'm here tonight about is speeding. I know we're short of staff with the police officers, but if we could get them to concentrate a little bit down from 3rd Street down to the end. We that live on 210 North Park, I almost said California address, North River Drive, we really appreciate it. I've seen several occasions of passing right in front of my house, people in a hurry. So if we could get somebody to monitor that area a little more, we the homeowners would really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and again, Merry Christmas to everybody, and have some great holidays.
Thank you, sir. That the only one? Okay. Let's see, we just want to do the public hearing. All right. Are you ready? All right.
Evening, everyone. Let's see, the first public hearing item that I have tonight, this is smaller, there's not enough room for all my junk. So the first public hearing item that we have on the agenda tonight is the conditional rezoning request for Magnolia Reserve, lots 150 through 200. So for those of you who don't know what a conditional rezoning request is, it's where we apply site-specific constraints to a lot that doesn't meet our standard zoning. It allows us the opportunity to welcome different types of developments to the town that may not meet our standard process. So the portion that we're looking at tonight is lots 150 through 200. As I said before, it's in the Magnolia Reserve subdivision. It is approximately 12 acres of that subdivision. That subdivision is currently zoned R10 and is requesting the conditional rezoning. I think everybody here knows where Magnolia Reserve is. They're building houses pretty fast out there, so. Magnolia Reserve is a single-family residential subdivision located on the south side of NC 210 between the existing Surf City Water Tower and Saltwater Landing. The currently approved 79.84 acre development meets the R10 zoning requirements and consists of 200 lots and an amenity center. Including stormwater ponds, the amenity center, and natural areas, the development provides 21% open recreational space, so that's area that's not developed. A diagram of that open space is provided in your packet. Construction of the subdivision's infrastructure, including sewer and water and streets, is nearing completion. Phases 1A, 1B, 2, and 3 are currently under construction, with phases 4 and 5 to come. Of the first 149 lots, the average lot width exceeds 60 feet. This has allowed the existing builders to provide a standard house width of 40 feet. The standard house width helps allow the master bedroom to be downstairs with a 2-car garage without having the house say, "Welcome to my garage," and not have a porch area that says, "Welcome to my house." So that's why this 40 feet width is an important number. The existing 7.5 feet side setbacks and the 15-foot side setback adjacent to roadways does not allow for the continued use of a standard size house. The applicant is requesting to modify the side setbacks of lots 150 to 200 only. The modification would allow for a 5-foot side setback and a 12.5-foot side setback adjacent to roadway. The current R10 zoning allows for encroachments of up to 2 foot wide by 12 feet long on the side setbacks and does not limit the number of encroachments. This effectively cuts that side setback distance down to 5.5 feet. Also, in our MFC and PUD zonings, the town allows for 5-foot side setbacks and 10-foot adjacent to road setbacks. Also, in these zonings where we allow multiple buildings on one property, we require a 10-foot separation between those existing or those proposed buildings. Lots 150 through 200 would continue to meet all other R10 zoning requirements, including a lot size of 10,000 square feet or greater. The more narrow lot would also allow for a larger backyard, and as we all know, most of us live in our backyards, not our side yards. So this would increase the usable area for those people living in those homes. As a condition of this approval, the developer would also agree to build a path that connects to the subdivision to the existing Frisbee golf course, which would allow for additional recreational facilities for this development. The connection would provide that additional opportunity. The site plan, vicinity, zoning map, and proposed connections are all in your packets for your review tonight. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, the planning board did recommend approval of the conditional rezoning as submitted.
Thank you, ma'am. And usually there's not enough people here. Most people all know her, but this is the same time. She's our building and
Planning director.
Director, yeah, planning and building director. So,
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
That's no new homes. That's no more additional homes. It's the same amount of homes, correct?
So, yes, this, as you can see up here, this is the plat that we originally approved. It had 200 lots. The lots number will not change. That was one of the things that I did discuss with the developer before coming into this, that we didn't want to increase any number of lots. We wanted to stay with the same 200.
I make a motion, we approve it. Oh, are you gonna open it up to public comment?
Do we need a public, open it up to the public comment?
To public
Right, to a public hearing. Yeah, do we have a motion to go into public hearing?
So moved.
I make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, all in favor, raise your hand. Okay, we're in public hearing now. If somebody would like to speak, then come up to this microphone over here and let us hear you. I figured you would. I hadn't heard from you in a while. Huh?
He's gonna be speaking on this zoning. He's speaking on the zoning, isn't he?
I have to tell you where I live.
Yeah.
Jack Solak, 2408 South Shore Drive, Sur 30, North Carolina. I was just wondering about these. Instead of making the spaces between the houses smaller, why don't you just build bigger lots? What would you eliminate, about 5 lots?
That was an option that was discussed. This was the route that the applicant wanted to take as a trade-off.
Obviously,
As a trade-off, we're requesting additional infrastructure be built to allow for that connection to the Frisbee Golf Park.
But it would be just as easy to make a bigger lot though, right? It'd still keep the existing
It would,
spaces that everybody else has.
we would have to re-engineer the site, look at the stormwater, go through that. This has a preliminary plat approval already and has been through all of the process. This was a quicker answer. It also allowed for the people living there to have larger, longer backyards that allowed them to enjoy those backyards more. Most people don't set in those side yards. It's kind of a space that's just there. So it allowed them to have additional space in their backyard to utilize, as well as the extra infrastructure to tie them into a golf frisbee.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
John Martino, I actually live in Magnolia Reserve. I'm opposed to that. I don't think it brings anything to the community. I think it's not going to look very nice. It's just going to be a lot of houses and concrete. And I think you also said you're moving the houses closer to the street.
No, sir. The only change is the distance between the houses. They will remain.
Sides.
Yep. All other R10 requirements remain.
Okay. And I know you mentioned just something about the storm drains and all that.
If we redid the lot layout, like Mr. Solak asked, we would have to look back at the drainage for the entire area.
Okay. Because I mean, there's plenty of problems with that right now as it is. That's not being addressed. My street floods every time it rains. I think before they would even be able to consider something like this, maybe they can consider fixing what's already there.
And the developer will be working on that. The state stormwater system will have to be certified prior to
No, I know he
completion
might
of
be.
that. So it's something that is an ongoing thing that they're working on.
Okay, we've called the town, we've called the developer, we've called everybody. I mean, I guess it's a different issue than what you're talking to, but if the developer can't handle that, I don't have faith that it's going to be any sort of beautification. It's going to be, I mean, not quite exactly, but just a whole bunch of row houses.
So the stormwater on this project has a state stormwater permit, which allows for a certain amount of built-upon area on every lot. That is not changing with this request. So whether we change lot lines or sizes, the amount of built-upon area that is designed to go to these state stormwater ponds would not change. So that's a completely separate issue. I'm happy to talk to you about it further,
Yeah, no, that's fine,
but
but
that doesn't change.
I mean, I guess just leading to this, then I think it's just going to look ugly. And then it was just going to be house right on top of house on top of house. And in the HOA that we signed, it said the house, the minimum size house is 1,600 square feet. So maybe they could just consider building smaller houses on those lots and using the existing setbacks. So that's it.
Mayor, in a public hearing, the appropriate discourse would be for the public to address their comments to the board, not necessarily engage in a debate or discussion.
With Amy.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anybody else got comment? Yes, ma'am. She doesn't live in there.
No.
My name is Kathleen Sumner. I'm over on Boca Bay, North Boca Bay Lane. And we have run into this kind of problem before. We have, on Boca Bay, the south end of Boca Bay was built with houses very close together. And I'm hoping that in anything that this board considers, that they also consider location of the propane tanks and the security of those propane tanks to the building, so we don't have any more explosions and so they don't tip over and they're not, because they're not properly secured. That the high density also does not affect the quality of the water pressure for the fire hydrants, and we have enough fire hydrants on the premises to protect the homes in case there's a problem, as well as any sewer drains. And we have a method of handling the high density in a small area. I mean, these are clearly a greater amount of homes in an area that was expected to have more homes. So I'm not in the business of making decisions on this kind of thing, but I'm hoping, and I respect your opinions here at the board, that you definitely consider all these aspects before you approve this particular diagram, even if they have to go back to the drawing board to make the houses larger and less dense in that particular neighborhood, because we're seeing a lot of close, high-density properties that are not capable of handling the trash, the floodwater, the fire, and the water pressure. Thank you.
Thank you. There may be a misconception that they're adding more houses in this property, but they're not.
Correct.
And the houses are basically the same size, maybe a different shape.
Yes, sir.
And as far as fire protection, our fire department has to approve location of fire hydrants and anything else that has to do with fire protection. So they are looking for that. And so I think those concerns will be covered when they go through this. All right. Anybody else got a comment? If not, do I have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. All right, Miss Amy,
Yes, sir.
do we want to vote on this now?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, raise your hand. So moved. You have that. Now you got the next one.
I do. Our next public hearing will be for a zoning text amendment. So staff is requesting the addition of language to the manufactured home subdivision zoning side setbacks requirements to provide consistency with residential requirements throughout all residential zonings. A general overview, the MHS subdivision is located mainly on the canals as well as Little Kinston and Atkinson, just off the island. So those are your two main areas. The area zoned MHS originally consisted of manufactured homes. These structures were one story on a standard foundation or raised on piles. As these homes have continued to age and deteriorate, many property owners have elected to replace the home with either a modular or a stick-built single-family home. All residential zonings other than zonings allowing manufactured homes require the side setbacks to increase once a house with a third floor above pile exceeds 250 square feet. As this zoning continues to transition from manufactured homes that were never more than one floor to modular and stick-built homes that often have a third floor, staff would like to ensure that consistent zoning setbacks are being administered throughout the residential zoning. The current side setback for manufactured home subdivision does not require any additional setback once you reach that height. Staff would like to mimic the other residential ones and have 5 additional feet of side yard setback shall be required for each story in excess of 2 stories. The third floors not to exceed 250 feet shall be exempt from this rule, and this is taken straight from our other residential zonings. Planning Board has recommended approval of this zoning text amendment as noted.
Okay. Yeah, because you try to build a house in the same footprint that a trailer was, then, or a mobile home, excuse me, then you run into problems. Okay, do I have a motion on, do we know, well, this is not a public hearing, right?
It is a public hearing.
Make a
because
motion.
It
we
is.
go to public hearing.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay. Floor is now open to a public hearing on the square footage of lots for replacement of mobile homes, right?
For the additional side setback,
Additional
once you
side.
exceed 250 square feet on your 3rd floor.
Okay.
Folks, this is just functionary, basically. What it's basically saying is, if you have a mobile home sitting on a lot and you want to build a house, or you want to put a modular home on it, you've got to have a certain amount of feet on the side setback. If you go there now, and the mobile home is some mobile homes are pretty close together. This ensures you still have the safe distance. And what she's saying is, what it amounts to is the 7.5 feet side setback, and anything over 250 square feet for the 3rd floor level would require 5 more additional feet. So if you have a mobile home sitting there, and you put a home back in place of it, and it's only 2 stories high counting the pilings, then you got 7.5 feet on each side you got to go. If you go 3 floors high and it's 250 square feet above that 2nd floor, then you're going to have 5 more feet on each side. Most of your lots won't allow that. So that's just a way of protecting your neighbor on each side of you. That's basically what this is doing.
Okay. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the,
I make a motion, we follow the planning board's recommendation on the zoning for the text noted, the setback.
okay,
I'll second it.
all in favor? Okay, so moved. Okay, one more, right?
This is my last one, and then y'all can talk. This is my last one, and then y'all
Yeah.
can talk to other people. Tonight, we're requesting site plan approval for the NC50 boat storage. So in your packet is a request for the approval of this facility located at 13929 NC Highway 50 on the mainland portion of Surf City. The PIN number from Pender County GIS is given for your reference so that you can look it up if you would like. The property owner is Mr. Glenn Batts / Batts Real Estate LLC. The agent is Weston Lau PEPLS PLLC. The acreage is 5.11 acres. The proposed use is an uncovered boat and RV storage. It is located in the C3 Extended Entranceway Commercial District, and stormwater will not be required on this. This site currently has 4 manufactured homes, with the majority of the property being vacant land. Manufactured home parks are not allowed use in the C1 zoning. The applicant does not have the ability to increase the number of homes based on the language found in Section 7 of Appendix A, non-conforming situations. This section allows existing uses to remain, but the area of the property devoted to this use cannot change. This ordinance does also allow for the home itself to be replaced. It can be replaced with a double wide if it's a single wide, but the total number cannot be replaced. So that back portion of his property cannot be used for additional manufactured homes. The proposed RV boat storage allows the applicant to utilize the remainder of his property in a manner that is consistent with the current zoning. Boat storage is listed in the table of uses under boat houses, boat docks, fishing piers, dry storage, and marinas, dry and wet, commercial, and requires a special use permit. RV storage is not listed as a separate use in our table of uses, but would fit within the typical setting associated with a dry storage facility. While reviewing the site through TRC, town staff suggested that the screening requirements of many storage facilities be adhered to, as they are more stringent than the typical landscape buffer requirements. The applicant will be placing a fence around the entirety of the property while providing the dense evergreen buffer as required for many storage facilities. The site will also be screened from NC 5210 due to the existing manufactured homes that will be located between the boat storage facility and the roadway. Sidewalks already exist along NC 5210 frontage. The DOT will require a driveway permit, but any of those requirements would be at the roadway and would not change the site plan. Planning Board recommended approval of the site as submitted.
Make a motion, we go into public hearing.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, raise your hand. Public hearing now open.
I thought this was a Chick-fil-A we were bringing here.
Do what?
I thought it was Chick-fil-A. I thought, so I misread it. I thought it was a Chick-fil-A. It's a boat storage.
Yeah.
I thought it was Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Why, you must have been hungry.
To break this down in common language, folks, what it's saying is that mobile homes that are there will not be any more mobile homes placed on that property. And this will allow the owner of the property behind that, which is the same owner, to go ahead and build his boat storage, but it can build it to the standards required for storage, so it'll be shielded and aesthetically look good in the area, and shield it from the mobile homes as well. It's not going to be able to add any more mobile homes to that property. That's basically what it's saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We got it. Have we got anybody speaking?
Make a motion, we
That's right,
close the hearing.
you were speaking in Clay.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor? Okay. Now you could put your comment in, but you already put it in, so we'll go ahead with it. All right. Okay. Do I have a motion to accept this?
Make a motion, we approve as part of the planning board recommended.
I'll second.
All in favor, raise your hand. And are you through, Miss Amy?
I am through. I hope y'all have a lovely evening.
We appreciate your entertainment.
Anytime.
Yeah, I see. Okay, now that we got through all the business and the colonel has arrived. And come on up, Colonel. This is when we're going to give you that stand right there. This is Colonel Benjamin Benton, and his sidekick here is Robert Kiesler. Of course, I've already talked about him.
This is Kent. Bob's.
Oh, Kent. I'm
He's-
sorry.
he's-
Yeah, I
he's
did.
the smart-
And I said when I
I brought the
introduced
smart
him.
guy. You know,
When I
Bob.
introduced-
I brought the subject matter expert with me. I bring Bob for entertainment.
Yeah. Well, when I introduced him, I did introduce you as Kent, right?
Yes, yeah.
But they hadn't got Robert with them. But we've dealt a lot with Robert too.
Yes, sir.
So we appreciate y'all being here and look forward to seeing a lot of Kent.
Yes, sir. You will, and Bob too. He's definitely a
Bob,
right hand
yeah.
man keeping
But I
us
know
straight.
Bob will probably say, Kent, are you down that way?
Yeah. So actually, I texted Bob right when I walked in. I was like, "Man, there are a lot of people here," which is great. I'm glad to see. COVID's out. I've done a couple of these in various towns and communities all on Facebook, and it's nice to actually see people here. I'm going to talk a little bit about the coastal storm risk management project on the books. I'm not sure how much all of you are tracking this. I know the council and the leadership of the community have been heavily involved trying to bring this project to fruition. So a little bit of background, 2018 supplemental authorization got authorized as a coastal storm risk management project, which is a Corps of Engineers beach renourishment program that we have across the nation, really designed purely to protect infrastructure during storm events. This particular one was a little bit unique. It wrapped in North Topsail and Surf City into the same project. So we've been working through, it was funded for construction, going through our process and there's a cost sharing component of it. And unfortunately, North Topsail decided not to proceed with their portion of the project. A lot of reasons behind that. That's their decision. They had the right to do that. But the way it was authorized by Congress, they were tied together. So what we're really doing internally now is working through the process to try and see if we can separate those two out without going back up through Congress and all of the legislative process to see if we can break that out and it is economically justified. There's a complicated formula with benefit and cost and justification to see if we can make the Surf City portion of this a standalone project by itself within what we call our chief's discretion. So the chief of engineers, my boss's boss, General Spellman, Lieutenant General Spellman, has the authority to make some approvals without going back to Congress if it's in like a plus or minus 20%. Call it a validation. And that's really the process we're in now. We're redoing a lot of the economics on a standalone side, looking at the benefits, looking at the cost to bring in sand, to build the structure of the real estate and all that, to see where it falls out. Hopefully, if we can get it to fall out, and again, we'll be able to kind of make this go more quickly and get moving. If it doesn't, it does not mean the project is dead, and I don't want anybody to walk away thinking that. It just becomes a little more bureaucratic, honestly, process to go through what they call a PACR, post-authorization change report, which is basically a little bit more work justifying as a standalone project. So that's really kind of the one over the world. I will tell you that we in the Wilmington District, Bob, Kent, are working on this every day. What is not lost on us is the importance of this project to the community. I say that not just as the commander of the Wilmington District, but more importantly, as a father of two little girls that live in Hampstead that use your beach every weekend when the weather's nice. So we recognize the importance. We're working hard to try and make that happen. And again, thank you to the council and yourself, Mayor, and the leadership. Been phenomenal partners trying to get the information required to get this thing moving. I wish I could tell you, here's where we're at, here's how long we think it would take. And I don't really want to do that today just because I don't want to tell you something I don't know to be true. All I will tell you is that we are working on it every single day. In fact, there was a meeting today with my boss, Brigadier General Kelly in the South Atlantic Division. So I'm part of a district that's South Atlantic, Wilmington, Charleston, Savannah, Jacksonville, and Mobile, all work in the South Atlantic Division. And his staff is working on this with us, trying to help us, keep this thing moving forward. So my commitment to you is that, Kent, Bob, myself, will hear, and again, I've talked to the mayor about it several times. We'll continue to keep you apprised of where we go and how it's looking, and the same to you. I'm happy to come in and give you an update wherever we're at. So that's really kind of the one over the world. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about our process. Yes, sir.
Yes, you may recall about 2 or 3 years ago, we had an emergency push-up of sand of a 3-block section of Surf City. And it was, I think it was brought in by truck from the south end of the island. Is that a possible alternative in the short term to protecting the dunes along that section of the town?
So, again, I will phone a friend if I'm wrong and come back to you, but I wasn't here 3 years ago. I've been in command about 1.5 years.
Well, maybe it has been. I was guessing at the time.
It's all right. So I will tell you up front, from a federal project, the federal government coming in and taking care of a small little chunk of sand like that is probably not going to happen as a federally funded project from the Corps of Engineers. Now, I don't know this particular incident, if that was a FEMA thing.
That was a FEMA project.
Okay, yeah, so,
Helms, wasn't this push-up with
It was FEMA.
city funds or FEMA?
FEMA.
yes, sir. So FEMA, and there's oftentimes a lot of confusion. FEMA has its own, post-storm processes to get funding and to come up in kind of an emergency response type of framework. That is separate from ours. So our projects are normally 50 years in duration with an identified every, X amount based on the erosion. We'll come in and redo the whole thing, right? So that's kind of the framework we operate. That would probably be a FEMA, and I would have to push the FEMA contact to get you an answer on that. And I can do that. I can get the FEMA. I'm sure you have them, but I can get that to you. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In 2002, the first feasibility started. It took 4 years to complete that study, and it cost us $3.5 million.
Yes, sir.
How long is this study going to take before they even start doing it?
So in our process, right, so yes, the feasibility study is done. It's mandated 3 years, 3 million, call it 3 by 3 by 3, $3 million, 3 years. Now, so this is different, right? So we won't have to, we'll redo parts of the economics for this, but going through a full-blown, the feasibility justifies the project writ large. That's already been done. So we're looking at just seeing if we can take that work, break out just the Surf City information that has already been done, and see where that stands by the merits in which we evaluate it. Benefit and cost is basically the two primary metrics we use to find that justification. So I guess a very long way to answer your question is no, I do not expect us to have to spend 3 years redoing a feasibility study.
Mayor, excuse me.
Yes.
Point of order. Madam Clerk just pointed out, if we want to accurately record the questions from the comments, could they come up to the microphone when they ask them?
Yes. Okay, come up to the microphone if you want to speak.
Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
I mean, you're welcome to. It's just she needs to know who's saying what so she can get the minutes.
I had to speak to the oldest guy in the audience because I'm the second, so he's a great guy.
Thank you for your service, by the way.
My name is Marty Martin, 1825 North New River Drive. Got a question. If I heard you right, you said when you start to bring in sand and build structures, what type of structures are you referring to?
Yeah, so we design basically it's beach, berm and dune type of structure designed to mitigate wave effect during storms. So I'm not talking about building piers, concrete, or anything like that. I'm talking about building sand dune and replenish the berm that is on the beach that has been washed away through erosion that provides protection from storms.
So wouldn't you call that a Band-Aid?
Well, I mean, Mother Nature with the ocean, I mean, there's not a lot that becomes super permanent when you start getting massive wave effects. So that's why we do it in a cyclical period, right? So we evaluate how much sand you lose during the course of normal tide effect. When it gets to a certain level, it comes in and gets renourished at the federal cost share. We pick up the majority of that cost.
I know it'll probably cost a lot more money, but why don't we look at what a lot of other cities along the coastal have done, East Coast, West Coast, around the world actually, and drop out barriers off the island.
So,
and then you can backfill that. In 20 years, 25 years, I won't be around, but my grandkids will, and they'll see a beautiful beach. The government's got all kinds of surplus ships that you can stagger 500 yards, half a mile off the coast, and you build a sanctuary for the sea life. You create a habitat for tourists to go fishing, scuba diving. You save the sand from being washed away. It's all kinds of benefits from that. And instead of wasting all these millions of bucks eventually on putting Band-Aids on every little section, And that's basically what it is. Why not just go hog wild and go to the government and say, hey, why don't you let us have some of these ships, drop them off, and we'll have a beautiful beach out there. So South End's going to disappear. It's not much you can do about that. But if you go offshore and start build a nice barrier out there, in 20, 25 years, a lot of these people sitting here, especially with their kids today, I'll have a great beach out there. Not just from a mile that we went to when I was a teenager, down to, we're lucky to get a half a mile now. I mean, people here don't realize, so this gentleman and I, that they used to have 3 sand dunes out there. Some of them were 20 feet high. And we don't have them today. So instead of putting Band-Aid on something, why don't we get down to brass tacks and look at the long future instead of fixing it and then leaving? Thank you very much, Colonel. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's a great point, and so I will go back to a little bit about the feasibility study when we come up. That's the process. We look at all the technical options available, bracketed by laws and regulations. I will tell you, in North Carolina, if you talk about terminal groins and hard structures off a coast, they have put a moratorium on those type of structures, so we're confined by the right and left-hand limits of our authorities and the laws and what the EPA says you can do and that they can't. And I am aware, I'm a avid scuba diver and beach enthusiast. I know the type of structures you're talking about. But I will tell you, when you get into the benefit costs, you get into what the EPA and the federal government allows with disturbing offshore habitat and the litigation and all of the environmental compliance that comes into those type of solutions. You start to really, it may seem like a Band-Aid, but it becomes years and years before you could ever get through that, if to say it would even work. I will tell you, we just finished a project down in Folly Beach where we basically, the jetties that they put in place back in the 1800s, what you do one day in the coast, in the ocean, and this is what I learned from my PhDs in coastal engineering, it's so dynamic that what works this year, the tides change, current shift, and next year that same project is creating a lot more problems than you anticipated, especially when you talk about a place as dynamic than the Atlantic Ocean. Now, if you were in the Gulf Coast of Mexico, where it's a little bit more benign, you don't have the coastal surge and the storm surge that we have here, it may be an option. But I will tell you, when we do that feasibility study, we look at a whole plethora of solutions to include hardened structures, and again, evaluating it between what's legal and authorized within the federal guidelines. And I don't make those guidelines, I just have to make sure I follow them. And that was not deemed an effective solution for the cost, time, and what we were able to do. But I do understand your point. If that answers your question.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Colonel. My name is Damian Buchanan. I live at 499 Atkinson Point Road. And Colonel, appreciate you being here tonight, giving us this update. As you can tell by this great crowd participating in their government, and you being a resident of Pender County, that this is important to us. So what can we do as concerned citizens to send some positive energy to our elected officials or other bureaucrats, if you will? Who would we be sending that type of concern and appreciation for their attention to this matter to?
So I'll let the mayor answer that, because as a apolitical officer and commissioned officer in the United States Army, my answer is I don't advocate for or against projects. I just do what I am told and instructed to do. But I'm sure there are a lot more savvy political leaders up here that could probably help point you in the right direction. Here's what I will tell you. The importance is not lost, right? So I have regular communications with Congressman Rausser's office, Congressman Murphy, all of the Senator Burr, Tillis, and all these projects across the state are on their radar. They understand the importance. They're communicating it to the chief of engineers. So I don't think there is a lack of awareness or recognition of the importance that I've seen on behalf of the political leadership.
Is there anything we can do as a community to help you?
I think you're doing it. Honestly, again, your leadership has been extremely responsive, getting us the information that we need. And again, that's where we're at right now. But I will definitely, the mayor's on speed dial, the council's on speed dial, and if there's anything that comes up, we'll absolutely put out the ask. But right now, you all are doing everything that you should be doing to help move this thing along.
I've got to say that the colonel and all of his force has done fantastic. And talking about our representatives too, they have worked hard at getting us that money, and they're still pushing for it. But there's just so much red tape that you have to go through, especially when we made that change. If we hadn't had to made that change, then we'd have been working today, I believe. Don't you think, Kent?
Yes, sir.
And I mean, that's just
Yes, sir.
a reality. You know, it's something that you run into in life every time you make a decision. Then if you have to change that decision, then there's some consequences somewhere, and you have to come back and look at it again. But I got to say, I've got faith. I tell you, I was very down, and the manager and everybody can tell you, I was really down until I finally broke down and I called the colonel. But after talking to him, I really felt great and have since, because he has stayed in contact with us, and that's the whole thing. We're getting good contact from them, and they're telling us what they're doing. Like he said, he can't tell you right now what day they'll start pumping sand. But I've got faith that they will start pumping sand one day, and hopefully sooner than later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Colonel, if I could
Yes, sir.
say something and give you something to dance with.
Yes, sir.
The project, as the mayor just alluded to, y'all doing what you can do, and we've tried to be upfront and furnish all the information we possibly can and aid you in any way we can. I think we've been working great together. With that being said, on your best estimation, I think it's just what the crowd here come to hear. On your best estimation on the bureaucratic side, which is the side that you don't want to be on. On the bureaucratic side, what, on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think we are right now as far as getting something done on the bureaucratic side?
So, yeah,
That's a good dancing question.
No, that's a good question. Look, and I will tell you, I talk to everybody, I will tell you what I think, right? My commitment to you is to be transparent, right? I'm gonna tell you what I think and what I know, and not lead you down a false path or sense of security. So I am confident that we will figure out a way to get sand on the beach.
That's what I want to hear.
And from what I understand of the problem set and, the importance, Ben Bennett is confident we will get there. I'm not necessarily confident that we'll be able to hit the easy button with, the 20% and getting General Spellman to hit it. We may have to go through the more, bureaucratic post-authorization change report. But I am optimistic that we will be able to do it. Now, we also, we have to work through dredging windows and things like that, sea turtles. So even, if I got it done tomorrow, I couldn't really get sand. We're too far in the window of when we can dredge because of the turtle to get it, right now. But so we talk, where there's some initiatives for year-round dredging and things like that we're exploring to help move that timeline to the left. That's a little separate initiative, but it would aid. But I am, I realize that, next storm season's right around the corner when you start really thinking about it, and, hopefully, knock on wood, we'll be in a position to do something.
But we are still working on the year-round dredging, right?
That is a separate initiative. Well,
Right.
it's related, but, separate. Yes, we are working through the environmental impact of that.
Right.
Of that.
Well, I thank you for your honesty and your transparency. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Ma'am.
Hey there, Desiree Taryn, 105B Anchor Drive. So this question, I don't know that it's really geared towards you. It's going to be geared towards the council. Don't know if you can answer now, but So the question for the homeowners at this point, homeowners, clients of mine, in general, the town, is going to be if there is a massive delay because we don't really know where we're going, is the town preparing for potential other, like a push that we did or something like that? Is the town actively moving towards something so that we can give that, I can give it to my clients, we as homeowners kind of know what's going on if there's a big delay due to this? Thank you.
We are not planning on a push right now. And they really don't want us to do a push. But, I mean, if it gets down to it, if it gets worse, then yes, we'll look at it, at a push or hauling sand in or something. But we are going to do some planting also. We've got some seagrass coming in, so we're going to do some planting on the dunes to help build the dunes up in the meantime while we're waiting on this project.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a conundrum, right? Because we do things and then FEMA does things, and if you get, you know, kind of the Ghostbusters, you cross streams and start getting on top of each other's projects, that becomes a bigger bureaucratic problem, and, you know, you got different pots of federal money trying to do the same thing, and that can inadvertently complicate things.
Right.
Which is never a good thing. So,
I'll say we're just waiting on you all
Yes, sir.
right now. We're not planning on anything, you know, as far as construction. Yes, sir.
Dick White, 1222 North New River. I guess this goes more to the council. My first time being here, but I want to thank you all. Question is, there's been a lot of trucks lately, the last week and a half, 2 weeks, going up New River with sand. Is that going to the north end? Is that going somewhere else? Who's hauling in? Do we know?
Could
And
be going to the north end, I don't know. I know they have got a sand, that's what they did. They gave up the beach nourishment
the haul
for
in
a
sand?
sand haul.
Okay.
And
Well, there's another reason to take a good look at the speeding, because those boys are moving.
okay, we had a problem with it before. The chief took care of it then.
Just want to keep you guys abreast of it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can you explain the disadvantage of pushing people towards the end? This is the way I look at it. Every time you push it, you go out and start to put down. You can really put it off the guy. Now it looks this way. It's still good. You put down, down. The more you push, the less of the beach enjoyment that we that live on the island and the tourists that we rely on enjoy. And I think at no time. So, would you say that was a bad thing or a good thing to push?
So,
I didn't put you on the spot.
no, look, you're not gonna put me on the spot. I mean, like I said, I'll tell you.
You don't always say I don't.
No. So I don't know if I necessarily understand what you're asking when push. Like, so, you know, we're talking trucking sand in versus pumping sand in. If you're talking about trucking it in and bulldozing it, I don't,
About taking a bulldozer and going up there and pushing the sand back up to the sand dunes. And we're gonna say as a, you drop your blade down 6 inches
Yeah.
and you push it back up.
Yeah.
You brought over a foot that you take it away from the shell tonight.
yeah, so I don't know if what you're talking about or seeing here is something that we're doing, right? So I know North Topsail's got some sand projects they're trucking in on their own. I will tell you that when we come in and re-nourish beaches, we have an engineer profile, right? So we got a big center of expertise down in Mississippi that's got a whole bunch of PhDs and 100-pound heads that, you know, written volumes on tidal flow and all that type of stuff. They come up with an engineered dune structure. The one we just built down in Folly Beach is, I think, a 35-foot berm, 50-foot Yeah, berm and then dune and then heading out to the beach berm. That has been, so we don't just take it and just move sand around. We bring sand in and build it like we would build a house under plan specifications and all of that. We're not just shoring up to fix. We come in and build a beach profile with a dune and berm structure to mitigate the effects that have been measured with, again, 100 pounds heads, modeling on, the wave force that comes in, storm surge that comes in, wind speeds, measuring the degradation. If it loses, 1,000,000 cubic yards, we're going to bring in 1,000,000 cubic yards and rebuild that to an optimized solution to protect infrastructure.
We have
That answers your
diagram that you're talking about, we have on our town website. So you can go there and look at it, and it shows the taper.
Yep.
And whole profile.
Yep.
And, part of the object is to build a dune to protect the backside, but then a lot of it is to build the beach so that it lessens the impact of the water coming in.
Right.
So, and that's the main part. I think that's the main part of it.
That's exactly right, right? So you build the big beach section out as a little bit of a sacrifice
Right.
over time, and then once it gets sacrificed to a certain amount of point, we bring in and replenish it so you don't hit that big berm structure, again,
Right.
exact infrastructure. That's the plan. So,
My concern on it was pushing, which I've been against since forever.
yeah, I mean, if you're,
Pushing to me is just a waste of time.
yeah, if you're not, well, I mean, again, can't speak to that, but yes, just rearranging sand without adding to it, I would say here it probably has limited, it may have short-term positive benefits. If you're like doing it right before a storm, that may be advantageous, but from a long-term 50-year, again, we're looking at this thing through a lens of 50 years of protection, cyclical, that really wouldn't be optimized.
That's what we're looking at too.
And that's
We're
what
looking
we're
at the
working for.
50-year plan.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Stanley Griffin, 301C Mandalay Court. I appreciate you being here, Colonel, and answering the questions. Really kind of three questions together. First one is, what's your best confidence, or what do you think your confidence is that we will get the easy button, not have to do the Packer? And number two is, if we have to do the Packer, any idea on what impact timing-wise that would be? And number three is, should we start the Packer in parallel?
So I'll hit the last one first. All right, so a lot of the effort that will go into the Packer is work that we would have to do for the validation, right? So it's understanding the economics, the benefits, the cost, all of that. So in many ways, they're both, the data that you got to accumulate is being done concurrently. The first question of, do I think that we're going to get there on a validation? We got some more math to do. Right now, the number's not adding up. If it was straight off the top, we'd be already moving forward, right? So the answer isn't what we need it to be right now, but we're going back and making sure that all of our assumptions, all of our economics, all of the costs, all of that is right, right? So right now, it's not working, but we're going to go through and make sure we got the latest and greatest in data before we say that course of action is dead. So we're getting closer. I will tell you, we're getting closer. And again, we brought in some economists and some other folks to really make sure there's some, things that we can make sure we're straight at, get the latest cost of dredging, right? So fuel, all of those type of, what does it cost this year? What did we base our original one back in, whenever we did it? Are those up to date? All of those are being refined to try and see if we can get to that number. And again, full transparency, we're not there yet, but we're not done checking our own homework. As far as the Packer piece of it, how long that'll take, I don't want to tell you other than, because I really don't know. I will tell you that I'll go back to what I said. The importance of it all the way up to General Spellman is not lost. There is a sense of urgency. North Carolina and the hurricane zone. I will tell you that I took command in July. what is it, like 6 weeks later, Hurricane Issa rolled through and I got the opportunity to replace my own roof, right? So I fully aware and the risk to hurricanes and from hurricanes in this part of the state is not lost on anybody, if that answers your question. Yes, sir.
One quick question.
You're all right. I'll stay here all night. I'm fine.
Do you think it'll be 1, 2, or 3 years before they start putting sand on the beach?
It's good. It's good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I'm an eternal optimist, right? I'm an eternal optimist. We're definitely hopeful and moving forward to be able to have a definitive answer and to set expectations with the town council, the mayor, and yourself before the next dredging window comes up in the next term season.
So you think they might start it this year?
So,
Next year?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I got a lawyer, make sure I'm straight on my words. I am cautiously optimistic that we will have a definitive answer. There are things that we're working through. We're moving forward to it. That is our goal, right, is to make sure the dredging window, which happens, I think in September, when does it open up? And by the next storm season that, ideally we could be moving out.
Okay.
But is that a guarantee? I can't.
Oh, no, I'm not looking
can't
for
do
a
it.
guarantee, but hopefully it's not 3 years from now.
I hope not.
Okay. Thank you.
Excuse the creaking.
That's all right.
Bob Nolly, Surf City.
Need some WD-40 there.
Sir,
Need some WD-40.
a little bit, something
Hang on
like
to-
that. A little more than WD-40. Does it make any sense? Now, pose this question. You can answer it off the record if you'd prefer. But does it make any sense to parallel your efforts? There's political influence at the state level, and if you heated it up with a media campaign, you could get the state level elected officials to get their friends in Washington to do the same. I know this was played quite successfully about a decade ago. And I'm just wondering if you would see that as an alternative avenue to your efforts in terms of getting something quicker or bigger and better.
No, I understand. It is a great question. I will tell you, so the whole reason, again, just kind of a little sidetrack, the whole reason you've got Army officers in charge of Corps of Engineer districts is because we are apolitical, right? So
Right.
I follow the laws and regulations that have been set forth, and I do whatever Congress tells me to do. So
But they are not apolitical.
true.
And is there,
They are not, but as far as being able to
Yes.
pressure me or influence me or get me to do something, our process is our process and it's set forth in law. So
but there's seems to be a wealth of existing relationships between these people, the state level, and to the state level to the federal level. And I guess my question is, should we go to any more planned efforts to do something about it and use the assets we have available?
I'll let your town council answer
All
that.
right, I'll
just
throw
say
that one back at you, Doug, and your associates.
You gonna speak?
So Surf City, we are 100% committed.
Yes.
Our citizens, I think, are all 100% committed to this project. Past leadership, present leadership. With us today, we have Senator Tillis's office and Representative Rouser's office that are both with us, and they keep pushing on our behalf every day, as well as our state, our federal, every avenue that we can touch and that will listen to us, we are talking to them.
Yeah, I'll reinforce that, right? Again, kind of what I started with. The importance of this is not lost. It has been clearly communicated, not just this project. I mean, we've got things going on at Wrightsville Beach. We've got them going to Carolina Beach. Representative Rouser's office, he's talking to, we talked to his office 3 times a week. My deputy, I sometimes say talks to him more than he talks to me. She talks to him more than me. So it's been communicated. They're communicating with my, Lieutenant General Spellman. So again, there is everything you said, ma'am. The importance to the town, the residents, the citizens, is being received absolutely loud and clear. And I can tell you it's resonating down because my boss is telling me, hey, where are we at? We got to keep moving. So it is, you're doing again, from my perspective, you're doing everything on, you got the pressure on, you got it on me, we're moving out anyways. So you get an A+. And I see you went to VMI, I went to the Citadel, so, you get an A+ there anyways. There you go.
So, they have worked well. Our congressmen have worked well, and senators have worked well with the Corps, I think. And, but they can only do so much.
Right.
Then it's left up to you all.
Right.
And you all have to go by the rules and regulations.
Right.
Just like we do. So what they got to do, they got to cross all those T's and dot all those I's in order to get there. But they're doing a lot more dotting and a lot more crossing, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like I said,
and we do certainly appreciate it.
I will tell you too, the last thing that I will tell you, so the risk of us moving fast and moving wrong, right, in a big sense to get there and we get it and we don't have our ducks in a row, what happens is it gets locked up in litigation, right? So somebody will come in, and I've been sued by various groups that's saying, hey, you didn't do the due diligence on the environmental. If you look at Ocean Isle, their terminal groin, that got approved and then got locked up in litigation for, I don't know how many years, many years, and you can't touch it, right? So we ran into that in the Wilmington Harbor. We have been successful in the Wilmington district, successful in those litigation cases because we follow our process, right? So when somebody says, hey, you didn't do the environmental piece right, you didn't do this right, you didn't do the engineering right, we're able to show our homework and show that we did follow the law, we did follow the process, and we're good. So as much as it is, we want to move forward and we want to move fast and we all want to do that, I want to do that, we got to make sure we don't leave ourselves vulnerable and make a determination and move too fast, because then again, it has the potential to get locked up and litigation, and then we're in an even worse off position. So, not to end that on a bad note. So it's
No, I think you ended on a good note. You're very optimistic you're going to have something going on in about a year. I think that's great.
That was good, sir.
We have been waiting a long time on this project. I mean, a long time. I know at least 20 years, and I know it's been longer than that. I'm like all the citizens out here, we just want something to get started so we can see some progress for our beach and for our citizens. And there's no shortcuts to it. It's got to be done right. And that's our biggest concern.
Yes, sir.
We want something to show. But we appreciate you coming down. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Kent, you got anything you want to say?
No, well, if that's it, again, my honor to talk to you. I'm here all the time. I work for the citizens of the state of North Carolina as well as the United States Army. So this is important. I'm here to answer your questions. And like I said, I can be here anytime, and the mayor's good, and council's good at keeping the pressure on. So we'll keep it up. We'll keep you informed, and hopefully we'll be seeing firsthand here soon. Thank you for your time.
Hey, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Now get back and see where we are.
You business.
New business, huh? Have we got any new business? I don't think so.
No.
Nope. Okay. Darn, what's wrong with the thing here? You got yours up? Okay, manager's report. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, council and residents and visitors here. I do appreciate the opportunity, and thank you, Colonel and Kent, for being here, and Adam and Billy in the back. Those are your federal representatives are working out of those offices, so we do appreciate you guys being here. First thing I just wanted to mention, I feel like I just did this, but we're gonna be losing a tremendous asset to our organization. You mentioned his name earlier, Chad Merritt, our Parks and Recreation Director, will be leaving us and going to greener pastures, right, buddy? Down in Naples, Florida, him and his family have made that decision. So Chad's been a very forward-facing, piece to our group, working with the citizens of this town, and helping develop programs and new parks for the city. So I just wanted to publicly thank him. He was unable to be here tonight, but just publicly thank him for his service to the town. Next thing I just wanted to update you on very briefly. As you know, we have several major utility projects underway under the planning stages, and we are getting ready for execution of those. However, we do have some supply chain issues with getting materials. The first one being plastics for our AMI project, which was the advanced meter infrastructure or smart meter project. So we'll continue to try to work through those delays and those issues. The second one was obtaining steel for our Tank 1 upgrade to provide some additional structural support there. And then the other one was our green sand filter project with our water treatment process. So we'll continue to try and seek remedies, and Director Price will certainly work hard in trying to bring those projects forward. But just wanted to let you know that it's the reality that I think we're dealing with, and a lot of other folks on the same note. On a positive note, though, the town did receive some funding, direct appropriation through the General Assembly, through the American Rescue Plan Act, for wastewater projects. So we're going to put that money directly towards capacity of our wastewater needs in a growing community. So we're very thankful for our state representatives, Representative Smith, and certainly Senator Rabin, on working with the General Assembly and looking out for Surf City and our needs.
Yeah, they worked hard on that.
That's
We
right.
do appreciate it.
That's right. So we've been contacted by the state budget office, and we're putting together our plan to submit back to the state so that they can appropriate those funds, and we have a better understanding of how we can spend those on our multitude of projects that are underway. Wanted to update you real quick, and I'm glad I got a good audience here. The town is developing a mobile application to address communication and to let folks know what's going on in town. Another feature of that is a service request. So some of the common issues, water pressure, or your trash cart wasn't serviced, you'll be able to report those things directly through an app, and we are building that feverishly. But the back end of that system to input all that information will take a little bit of time, but we do hope to get that rolled out this winter and moving into the spring if needed. Just real quick, just want to thank council for your time at our retreat last month. It was very productive, I felt, solidifying existing town goals, and getting an opportunity to review the strategic priorities that we set annually with each department, and getting a status update to that. So a lot of work goes into, from each department head on achieving those goals that we set from the beginning of the year, and it's always a pleasure to be able to give that update mid-year. As mentioned in our discussion with the Beach Nourishment Project, dune plantings to undergo this winter. So we'll be coordinating with the American beach grass planting for oceanfront property owners. If they choose to take advantage of the opportunity, we'll be working with Coastal Transplants, where property owners will split the cost with them 50-50. So Coastal Transplants, being the vendor for the American beach grass, is setting up a website in which homeowners can go on and do a direct purchase. Then they'll invoice the town for the remaining half of that cost. And then we would anticipate delivery dates to set up with homeowners on January 7th, the 21st, the 28th, and February 4th. So as soon as we get that information from the website, we will be putting that out, and we'll do a direct call out to all oceanfront homeowners so that they're aware of this opportunity. On the back side of that, we'll then turn around in May to offer the same program for sea oats. So trying to do what we can for erosion and sedimentation change on the island. Again, Army Corps, just wanted to thank you. And then I did want to go over some end of season information on our paid parking program. So if you'll entertain just a few minutes on that, just want to go over some highlights with that. So we started the 2021 season with a few goals in mind, which was, number one, bring a controlled parking environment to Surf City. Number two, assist our police department in parking violations and sort of sometimes the chaos that can occur. And then the third goal was to generate revenue to assist with funding our beach nourishment project. Some of the high-level stats. So through the parking season, which started in April and ended October 15th, we had 80,627 parking transactions. So that's somebody coming and going on their phone to text to park and paying for that transaction. The average length of stay was 3 hours. And then there was 76,000 of the 80,000 that were individual users. So you can kind of understand that turnover that we see, with that season. Just some other, what I find some interesting information that we're able to collect and then hopefully turn around and use some of this information for our tourism efforts. Top 10 zip code areas registered, Hampstead being one, but also some other information. Fuquay-Varina zip code was up there, Apex, North Carolina, Garner, and Cary. So that kind of gets us a really good understanding and really good data of where some of the folks that are coming to pay for parking. So this could be day trippers as opposed to people renting an oceanfront home. But just thought that was interesting information for council and for our residents. So again, 80,000 total transactions. July, of course, being the top month with 17,235 of those transactions. And it comes to no surprise, but July 4th, we had over 1,000 individual transactions for that date. So other information, some fiscal information I wanted to share. We kind of set out with this program being a introductory program to the town, and preparing a budget was a good guess to say the minimum in putting that together. So our total budget, what we knew that we wanted to supplement our beach nourishment fund was our target goal was $703,000. So just for our town residents, what we do from the finance side of this is we do what's called debt capacity model over that 50-year term of the project, and we start looking at what is our 10-cent tax levy going into that beach nourishment fund, what is our occupancy tax that we carry over into that fund, and then where's that gap? How can we fund that gap? So we identified what that gap was. Our gross revenues for the season were $960,153.50, and then net revenues being $621,601.81. So we were pretty darn close in meeting that requirement that we're looking for. As a reminder, first year starting up a program like this, we had a lot of expenses, as any sort of business transaction would, putting in infrastructure and buying things like enforcement golf carts and certain technology that goes on there, so that we can read license plates and acknowledge that people have done the right thing or paid, et cetera. So, we will be doing a transfer of net proceeds into our beach nourishment fund, but those are just some high-level numbers that I certainly wanted to share with council and with the community. And then, of course, we looked at some improvements that we can start working on for next year. Priorities that we really saw on there was, signage, helping individuals locate parking. Even though our parking ambassadors did a really good job, we want to deploy a signage program that's going to assist with that. General traffic flow and getting people understanding of where they need to be. We hope that our town app can also serve in assistance with that. But then there's just some other internal things that we'll work on to help that process go even more smoothly. Another thing was our resident registration program. We want to see improvements with that. So we'll continue to work with our partners with paid parking into the next season. But that was just a general overview that I wanted to provide you, Mr. Mayor, and council. And then, of course, our audience that's here tonight. And that will conclude my update. So, thank you.
Well, I think if we had added our cost, our expense to that 621, we would
Yeah.
come out just about what we had determined that we would do.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So we'll look forward to hopefully a better year next year. And
Right.
But just wanted to let you know that we were pretty darn close on that initial estimate, and then keeping our finance director somewhat happy. Trying to meet some of our fiscal goals that we know and are trying to identify for long-term sustainability, and that includes our initial construction, and then every 6 years for those renourishment cycles to make sure that the town is set up properly to fund that program. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right. We're going to have some short forum now for Buddy. I'm going to call on you first.
All right, thank you, Mayor. It's good to see everyone here. Look forward to seeing you at every meeting. Please come out, see some old faces and see some young faces. You had a chance to see your council at work tonight. We do listen to you and have your interest at heart, and we do what we can do to help make our community better. Thank you for your attendance, and have a great evening and Merry Christmas to you.
Council Lady Batts.
I'd like to thank Ron again for all of his years of service. This may be his last council meeting, maybe.
He can't stay away.
And then we, in the back, Mr. Phil Voorhees has just been appointed to take our new chief position. Congratulations. And then I just want to thank again Tillis's office, Rouser's office, Burr's office, everyone that has supported us to get to where we are today with our federal project. And we're just going to keep on hoping that it will come sooner rather than later. We have been patient, and we can be patient a little bit longer. We just want to thank you for all your service. Merry Christmas.
Okay, Councilman Don Helms.
I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and the Tillis and everybody's office from showing up. But Colonel and your cohort, I appreciate you coming very much and explaining to these people what we're doing and how we're progressing in this. Ron, we're going to miss you. I'm going to miss you because I worked with you when I was on patrol, and you're going to be hard to beat. You're a good man. I'm glad to see that we got a chief and it came from within, our department, and I feel certain that Chief or Lieutenant Voorhees will do an excellent job. Folks, we have been working very, very hard on this beach project. Every one of us have. I've been here 21 years and we've been at it for 21 years, and I know it's been further and longer. And we're progressing. I hope I can say we see a light at the end of the tunnel. And I just want to see the beach get nourished and sand put on it. It's well overdue. And I hope every one of you and your families have a very, very Merry Christmas. And that's all I got.
Okay. Very good. That enough?
That enough. Might be quick.
Okay.
Might be quick. Colonel Bennett.
Jeremy.
Colonel Bennett, you get that sand here this next year. They're going to put a statue of you down there on that beach. I can tell you that right now. Okay. No doubt about it. Second thing is 18 December. We've got 9 o'clock in the morning. They're doing a spruce up Surf City. We're meeting anybody who wants to come down and volunteer and pick up a little bit of garbage on the roads or the streets right downtown. I think it'd be a great thing. Check the Surf City website, Facebook up for so you can find out what the location is for the meetup. We can gather a little bit of garbage, clean up the downtown area a little bit right before Christmas. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Yep. My big thank you tonight is Colonel Benton and Kent Tanner. We appreciate it. Our trainer, excuse me. I'll get it by the time you get here and get to work. Yeah. Something or another. Anyway, but I appreciate you gentlemen being here tonight, and like I say, look forward to seeing you. And when we get started on the beach project, we'll have a party and we'll celebrate. Okay. I appreciate our representatives being here tonight, and I appreciate everything that y'all do every day. And I hadn't noticed that before. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, we appreciate y'all doing it. And like we were talking a while ago, all of our representatives, state and federal, have worked tirelessly on doing things for Surf City, not just the beach project, but all our projects that we have. Anytime we find out there's any money anywhere, we're calling them so they can help push for that money. Isn't that right? That's right. Yes, sir. And they have done a good job this year. Sure have. But the big thing is, I appreciate each and every one of you citizens showing up for this meeting. And it means a lot when we have you behind us. And I know it means a lot to them to see citizens wanting this project done. And so anyway, once again, I appreciate you showing up, and welcome back each and every month. It's the first Tuesday at 4:30. So come on over, and we'll be here waiting on you. So, yeah, I will. I'll be here. So, like I say, got some people here I hadn't seen in a while, and there's some of them that used to be here every meeting. Were you not? Didn't you used to be here every meeting?
Nolly was here.
Nolly, Bob.
Pretty much so.
Used to. He was here, yeah. And so anyway, we appreciate it.
Merry Christmas, one and all.
Do what?
Merry Christmas, one and all.
Merry Christmas, one and all, from Bob and from me. So I hope y'all do have a Merry Christmas. And with that, who else we got? Attorney. Oh, the attorney. We got to let him speak.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
I hope he ain't got anything.
Not much. I've known Chief Shanahan for, I think it's 15 years, and I want to thank you personally for your service. You're one of the best out there, and I think Phil's going to do a good job coming in behind you. And I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and that's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay. Anybody else got anything?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Do I have
I'll
a
second it.
Is that all clear, Chief? Everything all clear? Okay. Yeah. Thank you, folks. Appreciate all of you.